Hey everybody, it's Jim here. In today's episode of Straight Out of the Box, we're going to be playing a Japanese Fender JG-66. I'm excited about this one. Obviously, I love offset guitars and I'm partial to the Jaguar, but they can be pretty hit or miss. So let's see what it's all about. And just for the record, I follow my own advice, and in general, not just with this one guitar. If you get a guitar in and it's during the winter months where it's coming from a cold environment, open the box and let air get into it for a period of time before you actually take the guitar out of the case, before you really get started, because you could damage the finish on it and you need the body itself and the neck to acclimate to your conditions. But that being said, this feels fairly light. Definitely significantly lighter than the American Vintage 65 reissue. So yeah, great feeling neck on it. This one has a 42 millimeter nut compared to the modern Japanese Fenders. Those have a 40 millimeter nut, and that's part of the reason why the JG-66 has gone up in price by quite a margin. I saw an ocean turquoise one that was quite literally dropped and missing paints and had gouges out of it. Sell for $2,000. So make of that what you will. And since Fender USA don't make a Jaguar like this, or Fender Mexico's version of the Ventera 2 is only available with a maple board and black blocks, yeah, the prices on stuff like this that people find more desirable, they're going to go up. But that's for a different day. Let's get this thing in tune and see how it goes. Alright, we should be good. We're going to be using the Princeton. We'll be using the Brown Application Protein for a little bit of drive, and I have it plugged into a tuner right now. We're mic'd up by the 57. Let's make sure all the pickups work, and then we'll get to it. Alright, we're good to go. Where do we want to go? Sounds good, dirty. does the surf thing really well. We already got a little bit of reverb on it. Try on a little more. Love that tone with the reverb. That's one thing I love about Princeton's and amps that have a really good spring reverb unit built into it. Put a little bit of drive in front of the amp, and as long as you don't go too out of control with the reverb, it's just the pure vintage kind of aggressive surfy sounds. Watch if I do a little more. Alright. First thoughts, I've played a bunch of these guitars in the past. The JG-66 is one that has got a lot of popularity to it right now, and it's specifically because of the neck dimensions and really the neck profile and the nut width. So, modern Fender Japan guitars, there's only one that's in full-on production. It's called the traditional 60s. It's available in three-tone sunburst, but I'm sure if you're somebody who likes offset guitars, when you've gone on to Reverb, you've seen several different custom colors. Some of them even have binding on the neck, custom headstocks that match the body finishes on them, and the highest tiers of those are also going to come with pure vintage 65 US made pickups in them. The last major difference between this new generation and the older generation, like this one, the rest of the electrical components on those are significantly nicer. So you're talking full-size CTS pots, switchcraft jacks, and the like, whereas these are still going to have the mini alpha pots. I'm sure if I take off this volume control, unless it's been modified, it's going to have the mini alpha ones. And yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, I have the also Strat style Jaguar pickups underneath as opposed to some of the other options. But as a whole here, to me, all this stuff is very easily switched out if I wanted to do it. I think this guitar sounds great. This really captures what a Jaguar is supposed to do. I'm not having any functionality issues on it, but the neck is really what's going to be the biggest difference and why so many people still love these guitars, and they cost a fortune these days. You get a 42mm nut, and you get a really nice C-shaped neck, like a 60C. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble today, but compared to the newer ones, you're getting a U-shaped neck and the 40mm nut. It's a completely different playing experience. If you are used to a more traditional nut width and more traditional kind of profile, this feels much more at home. This feels a lot more similar to something like one of the American Vintage 62 Jaguars that they, I think they stopped making those in 2012 to make in for the American Vintage 65, which have much bigger necks on those by comparison. So make of that what you will. Followed up by the American Originals, which kind of same neck profile-ish as the American 65, but with a flatter radius on them. And now, all waves of Johnny Marr. So, I mean, you can kind of understand why these guitars are really popular. And really, this is great. I love this kind of finish on it. Almost looks like a teal blue going on here. I know it's Lake Placid, but yeah, super rad. And I think it sounds really good. One last thing before we get going here, and I jam a little bit more because these videos are just all about first impressions. The bar on this for the vibrato is a point of contention for a lot of people that buy Japanese guitars, because even if you buy one of the newer ones that I was talking about earlier, they're still going to have the same sort of vibrato mechanism to them as the older ones do, if tweaked ever so slightly. I like this a lot. You're not going to be able to go as far down as far as pitch changes, and the position of the bar itself is a little bit different from what you would find on like an American Vintage unit. But to me, I like it. I don't find it deficient whatsoever. I appreciate that this one has what appears to be an older Mustang bridge, and this didn't come stock with this. This was originally shipped with a vintage style bridge, and it's one of those things where a lot of players, they complain about strings popping out of the saddles on the older ones that had the individual threaded saddles, but these ones, I like these a lot, and it can kind of get rid of the need for wanting to get something like a mastery or a stage trim, because the string spacing is also correct on this guy. Yep, no problems with it hanging off the edge of the fretboard. When I'm playing it, sounds good. So carry on for a little bit, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day if I don't talk to you and I just kind of fade out, jamming out. But this is a JG-66. If you guys want to see any more information about this guitar, let me know in the comments section down below. I appreciate all of you guys watching these videos, and if you're really interested in this guitar, it may or may not go up for sale, because at the end of the day, I do buy and sell guitars. So check out the website first, audiomomusic.com/shop. Got to get the same plug in there and buy my album while you're at it. It's $5.